Okay, so finally, welcome everyone to the webinar Financial Administration of a Horizon Europe project, how to build a good budget and deal with interim reporting period. My name is Urszula. I am assistant in the OH Boost project, which this session is part of. The OH Boost project is funded by Horizon Europe, and it aims to improve research and innovation at the Estonian University of Life Sciences and the University of Tartu. And this is happening thanks to our collaboration with the University of Helsinki and the University of Milan. And speaking of our Italian partners, today we are happy and excited to have Dr. Claudia Vecchiarelli, expert in financial management for research project, as our speaker. Dr. Vecchiarelli, with over 15 years of experience at the University of Milan, has worked on more than 200 national and international research projects. And today she will share her expertise on Horizon Europe budgeting and reporting. If during the sessions you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or write your questions in the chat. So I wish to everyone to have a lot of insights, to have a lot of new knowledge, and just enjoy the session and find it helpful. And now I hope it will work. I'll try to...
Hi everyone, I'm Claudia Vecchiarelli. I work at the University of Milan, Department of Agriculture, Landscape, Territory, and Agroenergy, and I'm in charge of a grant office, and I give support to scientists for all the financial aspects related to building a budget for a European funded project or national, international project, and provide support for the financial management of the projects when they are funded. Today, I would like to discuss with you some aspects related to the building of budget in an Horizon Europe project, successful in order to impress the reviewer and give the project a chance to be funded. We'll start from the consortium. What are the tips for an ideal consortium for an Horizon Europe project? The ideal consortium need to be balanced and credible, with complementary skills and an appropriate size for the project. It need to be perfectly tailored to execute the project, and the partners must be up to the job with relevant recent publication and expertise. The goal is to have a manageable project structure with a reasonable administrative burden. It was important to identify gaps in the expertise of the consortium and bring in the expertise or the technology that is missing. Each partner should have a unique role. So my advice is to make sure that you have a clear idea what kind of roles and expertise you need to deliver the work, and avoid redundancy and unnecessary partners who may become a burden during the development of the project. Another important thing is diversity. Geographical diversity and partners and gender balance. My advice is to avoid unbalancing the consortium to just a few countries. Also, think about the balance of academic and non-academic partners, including patient organization, civic society, and industry partners. Horizon Europe goals are collaborative and multidisciplinary, and project partners from different countries and disciplines are strongly required. How to create a Horizon Europe budget proposal to impress the reviewers. To be eligible for funding, your consortium must be made up of at least one partner from an European Union member state, and at least 2 additional partners from 2 other countries from either European Union member state or associated country. A consortium of more than 3 partners is usually required, and it's important to remember that the size of your consortium depends on the nature of your proposal, the size of budget indicated in the call, the scope of the call described in the work program. As a road advice, a road guide, it's recommended to have no more than 10 partners for a 3 million budget project. However, it's clearly it's all depends on the proposal and the budget available. Allora, creating an Horizon Europe proposal budget with properly allocated resources can make the difference within the success or failure of your proposal. Details of our Horizon Europe proposal budget usually reveal whether a proposed budget has been carefully planned or it's ultimately feasible. Budget information about activities, plan, and personnel provide reviewers with an in-depth picture of how the project will be structured and managed. A successful budget will meet the expectation of the evaluators and prove that the budget and funding are in line with the project objectives and goals. Prove that you will be able to effectively and efficiently manage funding in a way that successfully accomplish with the project goals. Demonstrate to funder that you will be able to stay on target and follow through with your objectives. Basically, that your project is worthy of their financial support. The best way to do this is to make sure that costs are reasonable, transparent, allowable, and related to research proposal. Starting step as a coordinator, you are a coordinator, you have to write a budget proposal in order to have your project funded. First, my advice, first introduce the project to your consortium, to your partner. Introduce the project overall goal, detail its objective, concept, and methodology, and its expected impact. With all this in place, all the stakeholders will have the information they need to propose a budget and the resources required for the implementation of their activities according to their responsibility in the consortium. The final step is adding all this information into an Horizon Europe project budget presentation and requesting a grant using the online portal, the participant portal. Choose the appropriate, it seems very stupid, but it's very important to collaborate on budget creation, to prepare your project budget based on pre-built Horizon Europe templates, work together with your partner in real time in one central space, plan effort and estimate each partner budget with precision and certainty, customize budget planning and organize finances to your specific needs. Get all the budget and effort information you need for the part A and part B of the that you need to fill in the participant portal. Allora, how to build a budget? There one first step, 2 different approaches. You have to choose one, you have to pick up one. Top-down method, bottom-up method. The top-down method, in the top-down method, the overall budget is divided a priori, many times equally, the same, between the partners. In this case, each partner is instructed to create and elaborate its own budget within the limits of the share that was allocated to it. The advantage is rather simple to the coordinator. The coordinator must perform less work, and it puts most of the budget planning effort on the partners. But there is also some disadvantages, because this method forces a budget structure that may not be so accurate and realistic. In many cases, it fails to reflect the expected effort required from each part in the project. Reviewers reviewers might perceive this budget presentation as too coarse or even artificial, which in turn may indicate a poor implementation plan. I suggest, I prefer the bottom-up method. This method asks partners to give a detailed analysis of their budget, of the budget they need to, in order to successfully complete their project task. In these cases, there are no predetermined budget limits. Once the budget analysis from the partner is collected from the coordinator, they are used to form the overall budget for the project. Since the method considers the actual need and efforts of each partner, create a more accurate and realistic European project budget description. Finding consensus, on the other way, finding consensus requires more effort, but it allows for greater opportunities for partners to really understand the project and enhance the project chance for a successful evaluation. Demonstrating the exact role each partner in the division work needed to implement the project work plan, give reviewers the idea that everyone is aware of their responsibility and will be able to meet both the individual and overall project objectives. So I prefer the bottom-up method, and I usually choose this one. Second step, once you have chosen the method, you have to do a second step, collecting the data. All partners must provide data according to their respective work packages. Starting from the one of the main categories of the budget, the personnel cost. You have to calculate your personnel cost as average monthly cost of employment of the personnel that is expected to participate in the project of each partner. The average monthly cost of employment should include the salary alongside any additional employment payments such as social benefits, pension, and so on. There is no need to get into fine details of all the salaries and additional payment. The main focus here when building a budget is the average cost of employment of relevant personnel. Normally, it is up to the financial department of the partner institution to provide this figure, this data. And then you have to do the allocation of person month per work package. The overall personnel cost per partner is essentially the average cost of employment multiplied by the total of person month allocation. Another important category that you have to take into consideration is travel and subsistence costs. Travel and subsistence costs can be associated with specific task or work package, but it is also perfectly fine to present a general travel budget per partner for the entire project. Since it is very hard to predict the exact cost of future travel expenses, you can use an average cost of travel and subsistence and multiply it with the expected number of trips planned during the project. The average travel cost should include transport, accommodation, and subsistence per person for a period of 2-3 days. Travel is a category of cost expected when implementing a Horizon Europe project, but my advice is not to overdo it. It is essential to keep the travel budget realistic and appropriate to the amount of involved person and associated tasks, because often the budget foreseen for the travel subsistence is not spent, and you have to switch this budget on the other categories. So don't overdo it. Calculate the amount, the right amount, and do not overdo it. Equipment cost budget should typically be claimed typically be claimed based on their depreciation according to the local tax regulation of each partner, of each national authority. Let's go to subcontracting. Before even considering subcontracting, ensure that the task you are looking to outsource truly require external expertise not found within your consortium. While it might seem convenient, but remember that subcontracting should ideally be your last resort. If you do decide to outsource some part of your activity, there are several key guidelines to keep in mind. Firstly, the task you outsource should never be core to your project And while budgeting, only an estimate should be allocated without explicitly naming any subcontractor in the proposal. The latter, this measure is crucial as it is mandatory to adhere to the best value for money principle or the lowest price, all while avoiding potential conflict of interest. This means that subcontracts must be tender. Most public institutions must follow their local national public procurement procedure or rules, while private entities need to request a minimum of 3 offers from suitable suppliers. All these aspects must be described in the table 3.1G in the participant portal. Okay. Another category, important category, is other goods and services. You have to forecast any other goods and services required for the direct execution of the project, and you have to add it to the requested budget. In case a partner total grant is higher than 430,000 euro, a certificate of financial statement, the CFS, is required to be submitted once the project ends. A certificate of financial status is usually issued by an independent auditor, and the cost of producing the certificate of financial statement is eligible and should be indicated in the partner budget estimation under this category. Second step, collecting the data. Yes, subcontract 2. Beneficiaries are not allowed to subcontract amongst themselves, and in most cases, subcontracting to affiliate entity is also of the discussion of the table. No core project milestone or deliverable should ever be entrusted to a subcontractor. Lastly, if a beneficiary does opt for subcontracting, they must understand that they remain wholly accountable, responsible for their subcontractor action to ensure they deliver quality work in a timely manner. The General Model Grant Agreement, MGA, does not set a specific limit, but it is generally advised to keep subcontracting under 50% of the total project costs. Third step, you have to make one big table, then split it into the request section. The fact that the budget appears in 2 different sections, part 1 and part B on the participant portal of the proposal, while using a set of various tables, can create a loss of important information or inconsistencies between the different parts. To best handle this issue, first create one consolidated table that collects and summarizes all the relevant data from all the consortium partners. This table is external to the proposal and is usually created by the coordinator and will only be used internally to ensure the budget is consistent and exhaustive. Once this table is set and all the information makes sense together, you can begin filling out the budget section of the proposal by splitting up the information throughout the various sections. Should your project be funded, this table can assist you during the project execution and during the project management, which is often very difficult. Consolidate the fourth step. Let's go to the fourth step. Consolidated the horizon budget. Once the data from all partners is in the table, the next step is to consolidate them into one unified project budget. The coordinator will be responsible for this task. First, it is necessary to adapt all the costs per category declared from all partners. This will reveal what the total project budget has amounted to. If the total budget significantly exceeds the expected grant amount, it is necessary to revisit the input from the partners and consult with them regarding reduction, the cutting of the budget. The budget cut could be surgical for partner or horizontal. I'll give you some tips about the building of a budget. Avoid allocate more than 30% of the overall budget to a single partner, coordinator included. avoid allocating more than 40% of the overall budget to a single country or partners from the same country put somewhat together. The budget allocated for coordination and project management activity, mostly carried out by the coordinator, should range between 3 and 5.5% of the overall budget. Now we go to the part. We enter in the participant portal in order to prepare to fill in the different table and send our proposal. There's a part A and part B to be which is necessary to fill in. Part A is an application form that has to be filled out on the submission portal. This form contains a budget table that gives the total for each partner, for each categories. The tables also include the project direct cost and the indirect cost with a 25% flat rate. The top description in the portal describe the expected grant for a specific project. The part B is a narrative. The narrative one is has to be uploaded on the participant portal as a PDF. It is the part where budget is described in great details. It contains the description work packages, as well as several tables about the budget, included the summary of staff effort, the description and justification of subcontracted purchases and other costs. This is the table A. You have the name of the partner, the budget split in different categories, direct cost, personnel, travel, subsistence, other goods and services and equipment, the indirect cost flat rate 25%, the total budget requested in the grant guarantee. This part A. The part B. The budget of the project. In part B, the budget of the project is more elaborately presented under section 3.1. It starts with the detailed information provided in the description or work in each work page. You have to describe with as much details as you can the work performer that we will perform under the different work package and the effort which is needed to carry out all these activities. This table, this description work is complemented by the information provided in the following 4 different tables. There is the table 3.1F, a summary of staff efforts, the information about person amount allocation per partner per work package should be summarized under this table that summarize the information you have inserted in the previous section in the description work in the different work package. There is table 3.1G, a table showing a description and justification of subcontracting costs for each participant. Each partner should describe the task that it's going to subcontract, if any, and proper justification for that alongside the associated costs. Then there is table 3.1H, a list of purchase costs, information and justification for purchase costs of the following cost category per partner should be furnished, travel and subsistence, equipment, other goods and services. The rule, the financial rule is that each partner should provide details for the purchase costs that exceed 50% of personnel cost. The sum of the remaining purchase costs that are below the 50% of personnel can be presented here without any further additional justification. Okay. There's another table, table 3.1E, a list of other cost category. There are several other cost categories in addition to the one mentioned before that can be added to the European Horizon Europe project budget. If one of these other cost categories is relevant for the project, you have to give a justification under 3.1i tables. You have to keep in mind that most of this other cost category, which is internally invoiced goods and services, cannot benefit from the indirect 25% of flat rate for indirect cost. So you can calculate indirect cost on internally invoiced goods and services. Eligible criteria for all the costs that you put in your budget. These eligible criteria are described under Article 6.1 of the Model Grant Agreement. The cost must be actually incurred by the beneficiary, incurred during the project duration, indicated in the estimate budget Annex 2, incurred in connection with the action, Annex 1, indicated in Annex 1, necessary for the implementation of the project, identifiable and verifiable. Beneficiary, the cost must be borne under beneficiary usually accounting practices. The cost must comply with national law and taxes, labor and social security, must be reasonable and justified, and must follow the principle of economy and efficiency. Cost ineligible criteria. What are the costs which are not eligible? Article 6.3, the model of grant agreement, as in previous Horizon 2020 project, the ineligible costs are costs related to return on capital and dividends, debt and debt service charges, provision for future losses or debts, interest owed, currency exchange losses, bank costs by the beneficiary bank for transfer from the European community, excessive or reckless expenditure, the VAT when it's not deductible, and cost during grant agreement suspension are not eligible. Funding rates. As you already know, there are 3 different kinds of funding rates. For the research and innovation action, the area, and coordination and supporting action, GSA, the funding rate is 100% for all kind of beneficiary. For the innovation action, the funding rate is 70% for private enterprise and 100% for non-profit organization as university and other public research center. Indirect costs is 20% of direct eligible cost. Okay. What happened now when your project, when your proposal successfully is successful and you get your grant? What if the project is funded? The European grant is paid to the coordinator in several installments. There's a pre-financing, interim payment, usually 2, and final payment. It depends on the duration of the project. For projects that last 4 years, there's 2 interim payment and then the final reporting. For a project which whose duration is longer, there's 3 interim payment. A coordinator is responsible for administering the grant and distributing the funding, the grant received from the European community among the beneficiaries. the payment, the pre-financing is paid by the European Commission within 30 days of the entry into force of the grant agreement, or 10 days prior to the starting date of the action. The interim payment, which is performed by the European Commission when the reporting period has been assessed and everything has gone well, is paid within 90 days of receipt of the interim report by the European Union Commission. And then there is the final payment, which is paid within 90 days of receipt of the final report by the European Commission. The pre-financing payment is designed to ensure a cash flow for the implementing the project. Its amount usually corresponds to the average grant amount for a reporting period. It remains the property of the European Commission until the final payment. Since 5 to 8% tax rate is stated in the datasheet of the grant agreement of the maximum, the European Union grant is deducted from the pre-finance payment and directly paid into the mutual insurance mechanism. The amount transferred to the coordinator will always be lower than the amount stated in point 4.2 in the datasheet of the grant agreement. The interim payment and the final payment reimburse the cost declared in the relevant reporting period until the threshold of 90% of the maximum European Union grant, but the exact rate stated in the datasheet of the grant agreement. 10% of the European grant, there's a retention to 5% and 5 to 8% from the mutual insurance mechanism may only be reimbursed at the end of the action when everything is settled and everything is fine. All financial statement, each period in one financial as one financial statement, or each period as a technical reporting and a financial reporting and adjustment. You can do an adjustment, modify the cost you have incurred in previous period by correcting them in the grant in the participant portal. Okay, now I'll show you where you have to upload your financial data on the participant portal. This is you enter with your login to the participant portal, and if you can choose financial report, you can click on financial report. Then this image appears. You have to put to report the cost of personnel, and then share this cost of personnel between the different work package in which the personnel involved has worked during the period, and then you have to insert all the other cost category. If other goods and services costs exceed 50% of personnel costs, you have to justify all the expenses up to the 50% of personnel cost, giving furnish a very detailed data, starting from the higher expenses. The indirect rate is calculated automatically in automatic way. Then you have to save and log for review. This means that your legal authority have to sign the report, and when your legal authority has signed your financial report, the coordinator see the report and the coordinator should verify it, should check if everything has been done correctly, and then add it to the periodic report. When all the financial statement has been sent by the partners, and the coordinator has added them to the general report, the project officer can see them and go through them, and if everything has been done well, the project officer, the European Commission, issue a letter of payment. If everything must be if something must be corrected, the European Commission send a suspension letter with all the indication the partner needs to correct their figures, the data, and so the coordinator must reopen the financial statement of the partner correct, then the financial authority sign the report another time, and the process restart. When everything is fine, only the grant, a part of the grant is paid. I've finished. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Claudia, for this big amount of different aspects and information. So, do we have any questions from the audience? Or somebody maybe is dealing right now with budget creation or reporting time, would like to ask something very particular? So I would like to ask you regarding the report preparation about the financial aspect, to which elements you would advise to pay special attention, or based on your great experience with reporting the projects and delivering the projects, like to what to pay attention when preparing the interim or the final report?
I advise to pay particular attention to the average cost, monthly average cost of personnel, because if there is a deviation for more or less than 20% of the average cost, average monthly cost of person month, when compared with the grant agreement, the European Commission suspend the payment and ask you to provide some justification. So if you notice that your average cost or monthly person month is higher or lower than 20% higher or lower than when compared with the one declared in grant agreement, furnish the explication for this deviation in the technical report, so that you can you gain time and furnish to the European Commission the explication they want in advance. Another aspect very important for me is that you have to justify. If your other direct costs exceed 50% of personal cost, you have to furnish all the details, as much details as possible, as data, number of the invoice, supplier, data of the invoice, and the explication of the goods and services purchased, because some often the Commission asks for more details and suspend the payment, and the time became very long. And if you want to have your money quickly, you have to You have to pay attention to these little details, which helps to cut the time to have your money to close the report. Another aspect, important aspect, is to pay attention to the Gantt of the project. When you report the personnel, try to report in line with the things you have declared in the grant agreement, because every deviation needs an explication. So if you try to respect whatever you have declared in the grant agreement, it's better. It's better. Don't do. Or if you, it's possible to. Possible to modify what you have declared in the grant agreement, but you have to give explication on the deviation, so it could be difficult. So my advice is to follow the grant agreement as much as possible. You close the period in fast.
Yeah, definitely, that's the best solution.
Yes.
Life is life. Yeah.
Chat with the European Commission for several months. I give you the information all that they want in advance.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you are a coordinator, you have to. If you are a coordinator, the role coordinator is very heavy, because you have to check all the partners' expenditure. And my advice is to report more than your budget. Because it happens, often happens that the partners doesn't spend all the budget at their disposals, but the European Commission don't want to retain money. They want to give you all the money in in the budget. So try to. My advice to report more in order to have more money if other partners doesn't report all their budget, like 20,000. That's the right amount in my experience, because I always report more, because it happens like 90% of the times that I receive more, because others report less.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions?
Sorry for my technical issue with my presentation. I can't share. Sorry. Thank you very much.
It happens. No worries. Is there any other question or story to share? I don't see, I don't hear. So thank you very much for participation today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Claudia, with us. And as the session is recorded, it will be also shared on our YouTube channel for later review for those who are interested in learning more about the budget construction and reporting preparation. So thank you for participation. I wish you a nice afternoon and see you on the next webinars from OH Boost. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.